record. Well, welcome back, everybody, to the iSigma Live podcast today, or in this podcast session. I'm joined by Ben Street. Ben, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, and the first thing I have to do is, and then I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about you and a little about the company. But the first thing is say a huge thank you, because most people probably don't know that the reason we have this live podcast is largely because of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a great, insightful teaching tool. It's a great add-on piece for the conference as well, and it is definitely our pleasure to sponsor the podcast. A lot less work in this beautiful room this year compared to the booth that we built in the back of a truck last year.
Yeah, I was actually looking forward to the shred truck until I realized that the weather was going to be 80, 90 degrees.
Yeah, we would have melted in that for sure. and we are the manual labor to set up the booth, so this is much more cozy. We've got nice furniture, fantastic decor, and we're in this silent room in the middle of the noisy lobby in the hotel.
Yeah, it couldn't be better, could it? No. So tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the company, and then I've got a few questions. I'd love to learn a little bit about why you're here.
Well, for those who don't know, I'm Ben Street. I'm the director of sales and marketing at Shred Tech, and I've been with the company now since 23. Okay. And since I came on board, everything around the iSigma organization, the incredible people that are part of this group, it's been something that I've gravitated towards. So to get involved and to get deeper into it, more engaged with the members, it's a great community, fantastic.
Just trying to get the camera onto you there, Ben. There we go. That was not wasn't doing that correctly, but that's okay. So being here now, what is the primary? I mean, obviously you're exhibiting, but there's you're also doing a session, and to me that's probably one of the more interesting parts for if I was coming to the show to hear a little bit about that session. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so professionally, I'm a marketer. So what I'm looking for is how do we tailor the product? How do we tailor the story for the product to the needs of the consumer, the end user? And in our case, it's all of the operators, all of the members that are part of the iSigma group. So the way that I look at it is by getting more involved, by getting deeper into it, presentation this year, to be able to listen, learn, iterate, say the right thing the right way. It gives me a little bit more insight into those businesses, and it helps us kind of change the product and the story, the services that we offer.
So just
as well.
for anybody who may be quite new to the industry, what is the certification? You use the CSDS acronym. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So it's a Certified Secure Destruction Specialist, and essentially the focus on it is all of the end of life for any type of data. It doesn't have to be the most sensitive. It's more, we're not talking about secret and top secret. Those are part of it. But it's any of the personally identifiable information, health information that you've got, financial information that you have as a business. There is a reasonable way that you have to dispose of it. The disposition at its end of life is required legally. And the CSDS is more of I'm going to call it an expertise program. We'll get into it more in the session, but you're demonstrating that you've got knowledge, deep knowledge in this, and that you're going to continue to grow with it. You don't just take the test the first time and it's over. You have to stay up on your certification, learn new things, participate. There's a lot of CEUs, continuing education units, that you can get to keep growing. But the idea is you get it, and then you build upon it, and then you can use that within your company or with others to kind of encourage and grow.
Yeah, so I think the continuing education to me is one of the really most important parts of it, because things keep changing. You want to make sure, one, that you're staying on top of things, but secondly, that you're adapting to those changes.
Yeah, and the industry is constantly changing, and some of the changes are things that you wouldn't normally consider. One of the parts that I'm going to go through in the session tomorrow is that your customer isn't immortal. They're not professionally immortal. They're not going to stay in the industry forever. Yeah. If you sold them on compliance in 2008, the average tenure of an employee, they turn over every 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's you're 4 to 5 humans ago. Did they really pass that down? Was that tribal knowledge? Were the consequences for poor compliance tribal knowledge that was passed down through at that company. And I'd suggest it's not. If you were to look at big businesses, anyone who's going to be on Wall Street, they have job titles that are going to be associated with staying compliant. You're going to have a chief information security officer. Well, okay, that is their job. They need to understand it just as well as we do. But then go down Main Street. Does the president, does the operations manager, does the VP of finance, do they really have the background to that, the understanding? Because the rules don't change just because you're in a different business. If you have any sensitive information, you are required to handle it appropriately, reasonably, and dispose of it the same way.
Yeah.
So the cautionary piece of it is, I think for a lot of companies that our members deal with, they are viewed as a waste collection service, not as compliance specialists. So there's education in there that through the CSDS program, you can have a knowledgeable person on staff that can look at compliance as more than just what happens at the pickup. It's a lot of before that.
And as you say, so I think I worked in a large organization, so everything we did, I'd have to chat with compliance. There was regulatory compliance for a ton of different things.
Right.
But I would imagine, again, the smaller businesses or smaller companies that you may be dealing with, they need quite a lot of education as to why this is important. Because if they haven't had an incident, doesn't feel important to them.
Yeah, and there's as humans, when we go through extended periods of safety, and there are more breaches, breaches always go up, the number of breaches go up. I think the IBM report in 25 looked at 600 different companies, and the average cost of a breach right now is $4.3 million. So the consequences aren't small. Yeah. But for most companies, the consequences are far away. And you perceive safety when it doesn't come for you, when you don't have that breach happening to you right now. It doesn't mean that it's more safe. And to be honest, if you look at what's going through almost every office right now, the only thing that you print right now is sensitive. These are documents with at very simplest customer information, signed purchase orders, something that actually needs to be disposed of appropriately in a way that it's going to go through the right final disposition.
Yeah, I so many people who print contracts and these types of documents to read them. They do the digital signing so that part of the digital world exists.
Yeah.
But there's still that hard copy document now sitting around on their desk. Yeah.
You're going to have markups, and these have to pass through the business. There are, I would say that very few people are printing unimportant stuff. They are printing the important stuff. And then, don't even get me started on digital. IT departments, if the person in charge of your IT security is basically just an IT generalist or a systems admin, their focus is on keeping laptops running on people's desks. The giant stack of laptops in the IT department that are loaded with information that should be going through some sort of end-of-life sanitation or destruction, it's just building up. So what? We have a semi-locked office for the IT person who's sitting on terabytes of anything that's important, and the volume is so much higher.
I have seen those piles when I've gone in to swap my laptop at a corporate, and then they're stacked up literally almost to the ceiling, and they go get a new one, they take yours, and they just pop it on the top of the old stack.
And they look at it and they say, well, I'll get to that one day. This is something I have to clean up. I don't think they look at it and see, look at the risk I'm taking.
Yeah.
Each one of these machines could contain something that's so sensitive that it could be financially detrimental. Of all of the breaches that happened in the 25 IBM report, the average number of days it took to pay that off as a business was 100 days.
Wow.
So you've got 100 days of, this is a financial problem for us. This is impacting our performance. That's not a small consequence. And most IT people look at it like, I'm trying to stay afloat. I have people to keep working on digital devices. They're not looking at it as a compliance piece.
So how does the certification really help an operator who now they get certified? How does it help them to now go and educate their customers so they can try to get programs in place rather than, as you say, dealing with it when it's a problem?
Well, if you look at a lot of the member organizations, they're smaller businesses. So you're going to have someone who's probably the owner, who's the most senior and experienced person, who understands certification very well and has been in the industry long enough to know all of that. Imagine the responsibility of, you're the only one. You're the only one who understands the importance of compliance and how to apply it. So then you're relying on your audit to be your sanity check. And if it's just what you're seeing in the business that's keeping you compliant, the audit's going to have findings. So if you have a second set of eyes that can look at it, I think immediately that's something within your own business where you can say, someone's checking my work. Someone's making sure that all of these steps in the chain of custody we're following because they're going back through and looking at it with a separate set of eyes. So I think immediately that right there is a key reason to do it. But the number one would be just credibility. Customers are coming to you not to tell you what you have to do to make sure that they're compliant. You're there to make those recommendations. In a lot of cases, our customers, and it'll even make it to us because those email chains tend to come back to ShredTech, they will go to the internet. The internet will tell them that the most indexed size of paper that you need to shred to is 1x5. And it'll come back to us of, hey, we need to shred paper to dust. Well, what's the application? Well, it's tax documents. Well, okay, so in the IRS documentation, it says NAID AAA is equivalent to the NSA standard. So if you work with a compliant company that is appropriately using their NAID AAA status in a chain of custody, it's just as safe as, according to the IRS.
Yeah.
That's an important distinction. So you could look at it like, well, my customer told me exactly what I needed, but they may just be telling you that based on what they've read or heard or interpreted.
Oh, and even worse now with the AI chat bots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's all it's doing is it's looking at volume of information, the most visited pages, and it says, well, this must be the right answer because it indexes at the top. It's not. In most cases, it's not. So it is I think another big use for it is it's the confidence to say, this is the right way to do it. Or at least to have the people to reach out to. There's the CSDS committee that anyone can go to and try to get some clarification or just build off of their experience. They've probably run into a similar contract that has to be fulfilled in the past. They can make recommendations on, no, don't do this, or here's someone that you can talk to within that organization that can give you confidence.
Yeah.
Because that's all the client's looking for in the end. They just want confidence that you're doing it right because they're trying to avoid the breach and the cost that comes with it.
I think I mentioned when we were chatting before the podcast, but I've actually been on the wrong side of two breaches. So it is. I just tell people it is painful.
Yeah.
You need to listen. You need to become compliant and do it right because you don't want to be on that the other side of it.
And it's so easy now in a very, very digital age. And the weakest link in any, safety is a very similar thing to compliance. The weakest link is always the humans. When you're looking at, we make big shredding machines, so safety is one of the things that we integrate directly into it. We put as many interlocks and safeties in place to be there when humans cut corners, but humans always cut corners.
Always cut corners. Yeah.
I think if you were to look at the majority of data breaches of, instances where a company would probably fail on a security audit, it's going to be human weakness.
Pretty much every time, isn't it? Every time. So if somebody who's not at the show, because if they're at the show, obviously they can come to your session and they can learn more about it and come and find you. If they're not at the show, where would they go to learn about getting information to become certified?
Well, to reach out to anyone within the iSigma organization, they're great teachers and they can give you incredible guidance. The website's loaded with information on the program itself. For conference attendees, all of the presentation decks are available to them afterwards. So after I give this presentation, they can go back through and use any of the information that's in it. But for anyone who's not here, I would personally reach out to any of the members of the iSigma team, and then they would just point you in the right direction to get information on it.
Perfect. Because it's always, again, I've been out of the industry so long, things have changed to where you can find information. That's good. Now we're getting close on into time, but I'm not letting you go because I heard a rumor that you have something called a firearms truck. Did I hear that correct?
Yeah. So
I had to learn about this.
We got into a fairly special project last year with a organization that's based in Nevada, and their challenge was the way that the firearms destruction is presently happening in the U.S. It's too easy to take partially broken guns and then build what's called a ghost gun out of the remaining usable parts. So their envisionment on this was not anymore. We will destroy that thing completely down to very small chunks of firearms. And they came to us and we said, yeah, we'll take on that challenge. We're a custom manufacturing shop for recycling solutions. So when we see something like that, we know the material application and how to take care of it. This is just tough metal. And we shred that all the time. And then we want to get it into basically a vehicle where it's discreet and incredibly safe. So the firearms truck is essentially a large, very large shredder that lives inside of about the maximum size of straight truck that you can get. And it's subtle. It looks like a big box truck as it goes down the road. But when it gets on site, it is a very safe mailbox-style feed destruction vehicle for firearms. So you basically go directly to the law enforcement agencies rather than them coming to you with a convoy. They have to have usually a vehicle that is moving the firearms to the destruction facility, and then officers that are attending as well for security. So that has a cost. But instead, you go to them. They verified, and it's just like everything else in the compliance industry. You've verified what you've given me. I've destroyed it. We verified the contents in the back, and we can review it directly in the truck. And now it's just scrap metal.
It's incredible. I didn't even think about it. I've seen the when they do the parking lot, and people bring, they find somebody's passed away in the family, and they find a stack of firearms. And what do I do with this? So I've seen them handed in. I'd never really thought about what happens to them after that.
Well, and the large volume of firearms that end up being used. So if it's used in a crime, it can't be resold. It has to be destroyed. And destruction it's costly, and it's inconsistent across the U.S.
Yeah, it's a fantastic new opportunity as well for people to do something. It's very specific, but it's definitely needed in this day and age.
Yeah, so we have the first one out there now, and it's going directly into service. A fantastic project for the team. I think it was a huge morale boost for everybody at ShredTech to be able to work on it. What a neat project.
What an amazing piece of
it's powerful and
quite a bit of innovation as well, because I'm sure you couldn't just take your standard equipment and put it in.
And there was a lot of consultation. So we worked with local law enforcement near our facility to give us a lot of feedback and a lot of their concerns. And you learn things of how they want to interact with the machine. Because in a lot of cases, they would rather that they're doing the physical handling to put it in. And that was a teaching piece for us.
Again, back to you mentioned earlier about safety.
Yeah.
Now you've got people that you haven't trained using the equipment.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and we want to keep it as simple as possible. The best safety is the safety that you don't know is keeping you safe. And then of course we have a lot of training, and there's going to be training with this piece, of course. But yeah,
I can't wait. And that truck is here.
So presently it's in Nevada.
Is it Nevada?
We were on the fence about asking. 'Cause we wanted to ensure that we delivered to the customer in a reasonable time, so they could just get right to work with it. In hindsight, I should have asked them, "Can we please?
Can we just borrow it?"
It's giant. It's way bigger than the trucks in the lot.
And it's very, very cool. Very cool technology. That's wonderful. Ben, I hope you have an incredible show. Thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your busy schedule to chat to everyone. And I look forward to catching you on the show floor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm really looking forward to the next several days here, and this is a great way to kick it off.
Yeah, and if anybody sees you walking around, I assume just come and grab you, come and chat to you. You'd love to meet. That's one of the primary purposes for being here.
Who's going to watch this, if you see me around at the conference, I'm happy to talk on any number of subjects. So
wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. And again, thank you for being the major sponsor of the podcast.
Well, thank you.
Take care.
Yeah.